Hello and welcome back to the Paycom Center here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, as Eli Gain and myself continue covering this Pacers team as they look for their first ever NBA championship. And I'll tell you what, Game 1, good indication that this team is ready for the moment, even after being down so much of that game, leading for all of 0.3 seconds. But be that as it may, they have a 1-0 series lead here in the finals. We got a chance to hear from the Pacers again here today.
Yeah, and one of the things that I noticed firsthand was Aaron Nesmith talking about how they felt like they could have lost that game, but are fortunate enough to obviously win, which is what ultimately matters. But knowing that you can make your adjustments that way, thinking like, hey, we were on the brink here. We didn't play a very good game, specifically in that first half. But yeah, getting those adjustments and attacking it like maybe you did lose the game to try to tweak those things heading into Game 2 tomorrow.
You obviously feel good about winning, but you can't feel too good. 19 first-half turnovers, 25 on the game. That's not going to get it done against a team as good as Oklahoma City. And Rick Carlisle said, you'll hear from him in just a moment, they're going to come back even more aggressive. The MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's going to be even more aggressive. This whole Thunder team, their backs are against the wall, right? They can't lose 2 at home, and they don't lose back-to-back games very often, if at all.
And we've said this the last 2 series as well. The second round against the Cavaliers, when it was getting to Game 2, it was like, oh, Cleveland's backs are against the wall here. Like, they can't lose this game. And then it was the same with the Knicks, especially after they blew that first game lead. And then it's like, all right, now you really can't lose Game 2. Pacers ended up winning again. So, like, the Pacers have been in this role before. And it's, yeah, you mentioned, like, the Thunder, they don't lose back-to-back games, especially here. It doesn't happen, but the Pacers have defied the odds, for the last few months now. So don't count it out if they do something like that.
We've come to expect the unexpected with this Indiana Pacers team. 5 comebacks of 15 points or more in this postseason alone. That's an insane statistic. Teams who've won Game 1 of the NBA Finals go on to win the Finals 70% of the time. If they win it on the road Game 1, only go on to win 44% of the time.
It's a wild stat.
So really interesting right there, a big difference there. But like, what's impressed me, Eli, is just how locked in this team remains. We can talk about inexperience all you want, but when you have Rick Carlisle leading the way and a guy like Pascal Siakam who's been here before, makes it easy to keep that locker room in check.
And I think it helps too, because when you look at OKC, a lot of their players have never been in a situation like this, and neither had the Pacers. Like, granted, I mean, I think Alex Caruso is the only one who has an NBA title on that roster. But when you look at coaching staffs, Rick Carlisle's coaching staff, they have as much experience, about as much as anybody in these types of situations. And that was a big thing too when I go back to Aaron Nesmith of mentioning how that coaching staff puts them into position to overdo the Thunder, who have a relatively younger coaching staff. So that's very big as well. You mentioned the players on the floor, there's not a lot who have the experience in this moment on this stage, but there are pieces there. But that coaching staff of Rick Carlisle and them, big, huge difference in this.
It's the biggest advantage the Pacers have this whole series with these 2 teams. There's no question about it. We got a chance to catch up with a ton of Pacers players and, of course, Rick Carlisle ahead of Game 2 on their mindsets and the stage that is the NBA Finals.
First question on the right, Jeff.
Jeff Zilgett, USA Today. Rick, it was alluded to the other night about how much the game has changed in your time as a head coach, but you've always stayed on top of the offensive evolution. And I wanted to know, what do you enjoy about the way the game is played today that appeals to your offensive sensibilities?
Speed, skill. I think the skill aspect is the thing that's the most compelling part of the game, and we're getting to a point now where everybody on the floor, not 100% all the 5 men, but all the guys 1 through 4 can make threes, drive it, make plays, and we're getting to a point now where more of the 5 men can do that than not, and so it's just it's made the game a lot more difficult to defend, obviously, but the skill aspect of it is, to me, always going to be the most compelling part about the beauty of watching the game and the challenge and the beauty of teaching the game.
Rick, Bob Kravitz from Indy Monthly, to your right.
Yeah.
Right. What sets Drew apart as a defensive player? He doesn't have jump out of the gym athleticism, but he's got great functional athleticism. What sets him apart, makes him good at what he does?
Well, he loves the challenge. He has a great intellectual curiosity about defense and the challenge of, trying to, I mean, you don't stop players today. You try to make it hard. And, he played with Shea on the Olympic team, and so they have familiarity. They're both from Canada. They probably have played a lot with and against each other over the years. But this is the ultimate challenge. A guy like him who's the MVP. And he's just so skilled, so quick, bigger than you think. Everybody talks about the lethal mid-range, but he makes threes easily too. And, he lives at the free throw line. So, there's no breaks. There's no breaks. But, Drew he's just one of these guys that he has an equal focus on the defensive end as the offensive end, and it's a bit rare with today's players.
Again, on your right, Fred.
Rick, I'm curious to get your take. The Thunder foul a lot for a very good defense. Historically, normally really high-ranked defenses don't foul a ton. We're starting to see more in the league now. Like, you guys have fouled a lot during the playoffs, but have been successful defensively. Orlando fouled a lot during the regular season. Really good defense. Are you seeing anything different in the way the game is played today that kind of allows teams to be higher foul but still super successful and bake that into the strategy differently than how it used to be?
I mean, you're making it sound like we plan on fouling a lot. We're not. We're trying to defend well without fouling and to avoid unnecessary fouls. But the game's gotten more physical in the last year and a half, whatever, as changes were made to interpretations. And I'm a believer that that's the right way to go. Nobody wants to come to an NBA game and watch a free throw shooting contest and have a game last for 3 hours. And so, I don't know, the game's more physical. As far as the fouls, it's not something we want to do a lot of. And there are a significant number of good defensive teams that don't foul a lot too. And so, Boston comes to mind. They're a low foul team. But we're still working at becoming better and better and better. And certainly one of our challenges is to reduce fouls.
Tim, here in the front.
Tim Reynolds, AP. Rick, everyone's written a lot about how you were 10-15, and then the turnaround started around the 1st of January. Paris was right, a couple weeks into that. Did that week over there bring this team together in some ways? What did that experience coming out of it? Did you notice something new about your group?
Well, it was the middle latter stages of January, which was our turnaround month. I think we only lost 2 games that month. One of the games was in Paris. And so, we lost the first game in Paris. And we're playing against Victor, and we've got all the Paris fans there. There's a lot coming at us. It was literally us against, the entire world. We didn't play well that first game. We had a pretty quick turnaround without really the benefit of the practice day because of how the schedule had gone. And so we had to turn things around pretty quickly if we were going to have a chance to win the second game. So, we had a couple of very productive meetings, and there was a lot of conversation. I like to open up our meetings to conversations and sometimes listen to the players first, after a game like that. It was embarrassing. We lost by 30-something, and Victor went crazy, and all their guys were, played great. And so we talked through it, and it was an important moment going into the second game. This is a massive place. It's 20-some thousand, and just all these other challenges. And, we were able to galvanize for that second game, and it was big. And then, we stayed over, came home the next day, and then I think we had 2 days, and then we had a really difficult game with Detroit at home, who had kicked our ass, 2 or 3 weeks earlier in one of the Cup games, and and they were still like on the come. They were getting better and better and better, and so we really had to be tough for that. And then we had another tough game, and we finished the month pretty well. That month was key. The Paris trip certainly probably part of it. We talked a lot about the Paris trip even before the season started and the challenges it was going to present, but also the opportunity that it would present. And, we had to manage, it's 2 games in 9 days. So, you got the front end. We had to get over there and do 3 days of media similar to this. And then, we had to have an off day as far as being on the court between days. And so, we had to figure some things out. But it certainly was a part of it.
Last 2 questions, Joe and then Dan on the right.
Rick, Joe Barton from The Athletic. Not only watching you guys play for more than a month now, but also listening and talking to you guys after these games and practices. I know how much of a focus rebounding can be and how occasionally it's a challenge for you. You won the rebounding battle on Thursday, 56 to 39. How are you able to do that, and how much of a factor was it in the win?
Yeah, I think I mentioned this after the game. We had turned it over so much and they had gotten 20 more shots than we got. And so there weren't as many chances for them to get rebounds because we were just, throwing the ball away or they were stealing it or whatever. So, look, the possession stats are always going to be massively important. Ball security, rebounding, the offensive glass, all that kind of stuff. I don't think we're far enough into it yet to do a total analysis of everything. But, if we didn't win the rebounding battle and turned it over 25 times, there's no way we could have hung in and had a chance.
Dan, last one on the right.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Rick, it was one of Shea's highest usage games of the season, lower pass-out rate for him as well. We've seen something similar from you guys against Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland, against Jalen Brunson in the New York series. What did you think about the defensive process on that number 1 option in the first game? And is that something that, it may be counterintuitive, but something that you guys look to play to like, let's get the number 1 usage guy going, everybody else maybe keep their rhythm out of it?
Yeah, we're not looking to get Shea going. That doesn't make any sense. Coming into the series, I have it in my briefcase, but their wins, losses in the playoffs. He was in the 30s in wins and he was in the low to mid 20s in losses, and so what you're saying doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean? It's just, we want to make it hard. Look, each game in this series is gonna look different. Every game in every other series we've played, it's just, a playoff series is a series of 7 chapters, and each one takes on a different personality. We don't want Shea getting 38 points, if we can avoid it. We don't want him living on the free throw line. We don't want him getting easy threes. We don't want him making that 3 at the end of the third quarter. That was a tough shot, but he banged that in on us. We got to make it hard on him. And look, everybody's pattern after a loss is to come more aggressively. So, he's going to be more aggressive. Williams is going to be more aggressive. Chet's going to be more aggressive. Their whole team's going to be even more aggressive defensively. And, the challenge for us is to be able to match that. And so, that's kind of it.
Thank you, Coach.
Pascal, right here. Fabio Malavasi, NBA Brazil. Well, just from my point of view, I was in 2011 on BWB basketball camp with Masai, late B.J. Johnson, all those cats. And to see that kid to achieve what you did so far, it's pretty amazing. This is your second finals, 3 times All-Star, MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals, and I just want to see, because the way I see it's amazing, man. See that kid come to be where you are now. How do you reflect on that transition?
Well, first of all, thank you. Appreciate that. That's very nice of you. But I think it's pretty hard to reflect, when you're still in the journey. Obviously, I'm super blessed. Like you said, that little kid that was Basketball Without Borders would really. I had dreams, but nothing near what's happening to me in my life, you know, and what I've been able to accomplish. So I'm grateful, and for me it's amazing, and I'll forever be grateful, you know, to everyone that helped me throughout my journey, and it's great, but it's hard for me to reflect on it because I'm still in it, and I'm still chasing every single day, but I definitely I am super grateful.
Next question here on the left.
Salut Pascal, Ismaël ici de Radio-Canada. Tu as mentionné à Tyrese après la victoire que tu avais l'impression que vous n'aviez même pas bien joué. À quel point c'est un boost de confiance de mener après la première partie et d'avoir cette impression-là que vous n'avez même pas effleuré ce dont vous êtes capable?
Non, mais bien sûr que dans les matchs, ça fait parfois tu apprends dans la défaite, tu vois. Donc on a l'opportunité d'apprendre avec une victoire à la clé, mais ça signifie rien à la fin de la journée. Les matchs sont pas identiques, donc on doit aller au match prochain, essayer de faire mieux. Et bon, on va voir ce qu'on n'a pas fait de bien et essayer de rectifier. Donc pour nous, c'est ça l'essentiel. Et à la fin, les matchs ne vont pas se ressembler. Donc on doit approcher ce match avec un nouveau focus, tout nouveau dans nos têtes. Et bon, essayer de voir ce qu'on peut faire.
Mark Spears on the far right.
Yes, Pascal. Kind of going on the first question, in 19, what were your fondest memories of bringing a trophy home?
What was my memories, you said?
Your fondest memories of that, bringing that home?
Like in Cameroon?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. It was pretty cool. I mean, I think getting to go back home where you're from, I just, for me, I mostly think about like the inspiration that gives to all the other kids out there, just to know that like I'm from where they are, like and I'm able to do these amazing things. So it was just like a super humbling moment, just to go back and seeing the reception and just thinking about the next generation for sure.
Fourth row on the left.
Pascal Ariaga from ESPN Brazil. When you look back on those playoffs and what happened so far, such great moments, clutch moments, do you believe there's something different about those Pacers?
What do you mean, like
a championship aura, like?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think for me, for us, we just focus on us. To be honest, we try not to look ahead. It's all about us, the moment, and yeah, like I don't really think about those things. I just think about us, and for us, it's game 2, which is the most important thing right now.
Front right.
Pascal, you spent a lot of time working with Jenny. Obviously, I know she's got a big impact on the staff. I was curious what your experience has been like working with her over the past couple of years, and what you think of her impact on your guys' group as a whole.
Yeah, Jenny's been awesome. For me personally, just like, you know, like being able to talk to her, get insights on the games, and I think for like when I came in, I was used to a lot of different things. Like, I mean, she's mostly does like defense and stuff, but I was used to a lot of things from like Toronto, or like all my like the stuff that we used to do, and coming back, you know, to Indy and like having a different system and different things. So I had to really adapt to a lot of things, and she's been really helpful for me in that matter. We talk a lot about those things, and she gives me, you know, super great insights on what we want to do and what we want to accomplish as a team. She's been great that way. She's a great communicator, and also just I just like her positive, you know, just energy about everything. I think it's mostly needed, you know, like and even in these moments where sometimes like it felt like we didn't do well or whatever, she's always bring that positivity, which is needed for coaching. And yeah, she's done amazing for us, and she's a big help not only for me but for the whole team.
Tim here on this side.
Tim Reynolds with the AP. Pascal, right in front of you. You've been in the league long enough to know that when a team starts 10-15, or when it starts poorly the first couple months, it doesn't always get right. Sometimes things start bad and just stay that way. What was it about this group that allowed the opportunity to turn things around?
Yeah, no, it was I think when you look at those games, I mean, there was a lot of people in and out of the lineups. We had injuries. We had we lost a lot of games. You know, like just on some mistakes, So I think when you look at the overall record, it looks a certain way. But for us, we just continue to chip away. Like we just continue to work hard, continue to improve as a team. And then when we got everyone back together, mostly like it was everyone healthy, it just started to get better, like for us. And I think it's just we're resilient. Like we're not gonna give up no matter what. And that's kind of like what helped us to just continue to chip away, get better. And for me, I always told the guys, come April, May, and June, we want to be our best. Like that's the goal as an NBA team. Like obviously you want to be in the mix, but you just want to play your best basketball at the right moment.
Fourth row towards the center.
Pascal here, Tencent China. Let's talk about the last play. You guys make tons of corner threes. Actually, you made a right corner three last game. But the last play, Alex Caruso was guarding you, and you made a cut to the basket instead of staying at the corner. So what was the decision-making process back then?
Well, I think it was like the end of the clock. I thought I knew Tyrese was going to shoot it, so I just tried to get a rebound, to be honest.
Tim, front right.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Last time you were in the finals, obviously you're a young kid, third-year guy. What's kind of the difference of the feeling of being a veteran now who's been here before versus being a third-year guy who there was a lot on your shoulders at that time as well?
I think it's a difference just because, again, at that time, like I won't want to say naive, but you're just going into it thinking like, okay, like this is just, it's year 3 for me. Like we always had good teams, we always won. Like so everything just felt normal. It was just like, all right, like this is how it's supposed to be, Like so that's how it felt for me at that time. And I think for me now coming back, I have a little bit more appreciation for it just because of the journey and like understanding like how hard it is and how difficult like it is to get to this level and to this point. So I think just in terms of just maturity and just knowing all the experience that I've been through to get me back here, I have another level of appreciation for it. And I think the level of grind and play and just grit is the same because I always had that. But I just think the level of appreciation probably a little bit different.
Second row on the right.
Pascal, Jamal Collier, ESPN. Rick gives you guys a lot of freedom on offense to sort of just do it and figure it out on the court. Just kind of wondering what kind of advantage you think that guys gives you, or just why do you think that works so well for you guys as a team?
Well, I think it's cool. Obviously, we have like a point guard that obviously runs the show for us and get us in position and also is not just looking to get his. He's moving the ball. He's doing everything for the team. So he starts the engine for us, and we have TJ coming off the bench doing the same thing. Obviously, we have a lot of guards. So the personnel just is like people that just go out there and play. And for me, I like that type of play. Fast. I'm running, and we just being us and playing free basketball. I always love that. And so yeah, it's good that we have that freedom. But I think it's still organized in a way where like we have point guards and we have like guards that get us into whatever we want to get into.
Thank you, Pascal. First question here on the left.
Tyrese, Robert O'Connell, Wall Street Journal. You talked about hearing some of the doubt over the last summer. It kind of continues a pattern of your career, right, where you've talked about being, I think your phrase was no-star recruit, 12th in the draft, Sacramento traded you, all these things. Taking the broad view, what do you think it is about your game specifically, the way you play, that has made people underrated at times, even as you've continued to climb levels? Like, what about your approach to the game makes it easy to miss what you're doing at times?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think it's unorthodox. That's a word that can be easily used. Right? My jumper, the way it looks, that's always been criticized coming into the NBA. I think that was honestly a big part of it. And I think sometimes I have an effect on the game that isn't necessarily the gaudy box score numbers. And so the way our game is now, the way the game is digested by fans sometimes, I think it's a lot of box score watchers. And so if my box score doesn't look the way that it's supposed to, I think that can be a part of it as well. So I don't necessarily know the answer, but I know that it's
probably not going to stop anytime soon. So, yeah, it's just part of it.
Again, Joe, second row.
Hey, Ty. Like the crew neck, by the way.
Appreciate it.
So you guys won the first 2 games in Cleveland. You won the first 2 games in New York. Just did it, one game won the other night. How hard is it to do that? Is there a commonality between all these road victories you guys are picking up? And then for the other side, it's really hard if you're a home team in a playoff series to lose the first 2 and come back and win the series. So are you aware of all that in addition to speaking of how difficult it is to do what you've done so far?
Yeah, definitely aware, right? But I think winning on the road is hard. Winning an NBA game is hard in general, and especially a playoff game, and let alone a finals game, right? It's not easy. But I think you're just trying to be as present as you can. Like that's the biggest thing, and that's the biggest thing we've talked about as a group is this journey is going to be whatever it is, 18, 19 days until, if there's a game 7. So you're trying to take it one day at a time. And that's how we've approached every playoff series that we've been in as a group is how can we take it a day at a time. So today it's about, getting through the media stuff and getting to practice and locking in on what we got to do better for tomorrow. But we want to have a good practice day today. And I think that's just the way we are approaching it. Because if we try to look too far in advance, I think that's where, you have moments in today or yesterday that don't go the way that they should. So you're just trying to take it a day at a time. And that's the biggest thing that coaches preach to us and we preach to each other as a group is how can we just have a good day today to prepare us, for tomorrow. But, the journey to get here all year hasn't been about, when we get to the final. No, it's just been about taking it a day at a time, especially the start we had to the year. So we're aware of, and it's hard not to be, we're human beings. We have social media. We have friends and family, tell us all the numbers of, if you can win the 2 games at home, what it will, whatever it'll look like, or on the road, or whatever the case is. But again, you just try not to pay attention to it as best as you can, and don't let human nature creep in. Just try to take it a day at a time.
Mark Spears on the far right.
Yeah, Mark Spears, ESPN Landscape. 2 things. One, you mentioned the social media stuff, but some of your stuff is pretty funny. Is there anything that you saw that kind of tickled you? And then 2, I did want to ask you if you could reflect back on your courtship of Pascal and kind of like, hey, you're going to be here kind of mentality with it.
Yeah. First question. Yeah, I see a fair share of the absurd things that are on social media. Get a good laugh out of certain things. I think that's just a part of NBA Twitter in general. It's pretty funny stuff. And then as far as the stuff with Pascal, yeah, I can recall everything about getting him here. We were in Atlanta, had a pretty great conversation with him while I was at a dinner. I stepped aside. We talked on the phone for like an hour. I just wanted to have a conversation with him. Hey, is this something that you actually want to do? Do you want to be here? Because I think that the guys who have been a part of the nucleus of this group, we cherish this. We cherish this organization and what we've been able to build here. And when you think every team to ultimately get to, win a championship or play at a high level, right? There's going to be a trade that happens, or you bring in somebody from the outside to come and be a part of it. And you don't want to make the wrong move, right? And, if you go in for Pascal, you want to be about the right things. And I didn't really know Pascal too well other than our small conversations when we would be at like Rico runs or something. So we had a great conversation, and I think we just very much so aligned on wanting to win and that being the emphasis. Obviously, I told him that, hey, I think that, we could really play well together. I think I can get you the ball in space and allow you to do what you do. And, he appreciated there's many things that he could do to help me succeed. And we had, many conversations about it. But I mean, that being said, that after that conversation, you still don't know if it's going to happen because a trade has to be made and that all that stuff has to be aligned. But this was just a conversation that I initiated because I knew the rumors and I wanted to talk to him about it. Very thankful I did, and we aligned on those things. And I think it's a big part of why we are where we are, and that relationship that we have. We don't spend a lot of time together off the floor. Like he lives downtown Indy, I live more up north, so it's not like we spend a ton of time together off the floor. But we talk very often, and it's a lot of basketball talk. And I think the biggest thing that I can respect about him is just his work ethic. He comes in the gym. I know he's going to be there every day. I know the exact hoop he's going to be on, so I try not to take his hoop. I let him get his one-on-one work in. And, I think that's seeing him work that hard makes me want to work harder, and I think that goes through our group. So, love having him as a teammate.
Right here on the left.
Jaime Jaquez Jr., NBA correspondent. My question to you is, obviously you guys, the Pacers and OKC, are both very young teams. Do you feel like if this is a moment that is kind of a changing of the guard where you guys are carrying the torch for the league and on to the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a conversation that is more so for, media talk and those things. I think, the changing of the guard really isn't necessarily fair because like guys like Bron, Steph, they're still playing at such a high level. So I don't look at it that way. I try not to think of the outside narratives that go into the result of them winning or us winning. Just try to approach it with, we want to win, and whatever the conversation is after, whatever that is, then it'll be what it is. You don't really have control of that as you know. I think it's cool to see young teams having success, and maybe what we're doing or they're doing could be a blueprint for other young teams in this league. But as far as those conversations, those are for the media. We just want to win.
Chris on the far right.
Tyrese, Chris Hagan, Fox 59, Indianapolis. You know how much people love basketball in Indiana. You've been reminded 100 times that it's been 25 years since they've been here. What's the sense of urgency to realize, like you said, it's hard to win a playoff series. It's hard to get here, to seize this moment now when it's just so close.
Yeah, I think, obviously the sense of urgency for Indiana fans and for everybody should be heightened because, we always talk about you never know when you'll get this moment again or if you'll get this moment again. I had a great conversation with Steve Nash a couple days ago, and he said, hey, you're in rare air. I've never been there. And I thought, I was like, damn, Steve Nash never been to the final. Like, that's pretty crazy, and some guys don't get the chance to do that. And so I'm trying to live in the moment every day. And I think we talked about it as this season went on, especially early in the year when we weren't having success. I thought more and more about how I took last year for granted, the chance to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I felt like, wow, like I didn't know what this year would be, especially the way we started the year. Are we going to be a playing team? Could we be a first-round exit? Could we not make the playoffs? All those things were on the table, especially the way the year started. So I think you're just looking at it and trying to just live in the moment every day. And that's not even just a finals thing. That's a life thing, right? Like, we take every day for granted as human beings. We go to sleep and we wake up, and we take that for granted. We take for granted that that my legs work and that I'm breathing and I'm healthy. All those things. So yeah, you can always look at it from a bigger picture perspective, and that's important. But I think, that's why I'm just cherishing this moment and just really enjoying what I'm doing right now.
Thank you, Tyrese.
We're the first team, I think, since 2013 to win an NBA Finals game without a 20-point scorer. Why would you say that is, and what that communicates about you guys?
It's overall collective will, we have as a team, and elite role clarity is what I would call it. We have, 2 All-Stars on our team, but at the same time, they'll be the first to tell you that it can be anybody's night at any given time. So we just really, I really fall into that philosophy.
Thank you.
Different about, I know you've obviously been with this team your whole career, almost going on 2 years. I'm sure this question is asked, but truly after seeing the performance in Game 1 and how you guys closed it out, what is it that makes this team so resilient in comparison to not taking it past, but what is really separated this team, you feel like, from your perspective? We're battle tested, man. I think we do well with adversity. I think we thrive in adversity. I think that this team hasn't been like a cupcake run for us. We over the past really 4 years, we've really built, towards this moment. So I think that more than anything, the last 2 months of the season or so, we were in a position quite a bit where we had to fight from behind and come back. And when you have that mock test coming into, the final test being here, it does nothing but help you.
It's all about being ahead at the end. But what do you take away from this game, this first game? Only being ahead with 0.3 seconds left. What do you guys need to change for Game 2?
I don't see it that way. I think that at this final stage, you're not always going to be up by 10, 20 points. It's
you spend so much time studying the other team and scouting that, sometimes it'll come down to 1 or 2 plays or 1 or 2 possessions. So we know obviously the biggest glaring thing was our turnovers. Once we cut those down, we'll put ourselves in better positions. But, you can't view the, I guess, game by game as like we got to go up by, such points. It's a possession by possession battle.
And it's a chess match all the time. We talk about the finals, next move, next move. What do you expect it's going to be different for game 2?
I haven't even looked forward, to the expectation, brother. I think my biggest thing is just figuring out what we can change, as a collective unit. We study our film, we study the unit, and I can't tell you what our chess move's going to be, but we make our moves.
Miles, what's been the biggest thing that's led to success on road games this postseason for you guys? It's impressive.
Again, just overall belief in ourselves, and then just I think allowing ourselves to lose ourselves in the moment. I think when you go on the road, just the adversity, people booing you, people saying all sorts of. I gotta give respect. OKC fans are a lot different than New York fans, but just the different things that get you going on the road is a little bit different.
What would you say? Part about this run for you, you've been through the highs and lows. To get to this point, maybe you never thought could even be possible.
Yeah, bro, it's just the moment itself, man. Just every single day, just how painful it is after a game. Just how much you don't sleep. How much better the food tastes, like all the little things, like, I'm taking it all, I'm not taking it for granted, just finally being here and just finally being able to, just soak my feet in the moment, like, I'm just taking it day by day. So I think the best part about it is just the process of it all. It's been a lot of fun.
Mike, who would you say is from your teammates, would be the best head coach in the future?
Oh, TJ McConnell, for sure. He's going to hate that, but TJ McConnell, for sure.
And who would be the worst businessman?
Worst businessman. Wow, that came out of left field. Let me think. The worst businessman on our team would probably be Ben Shepherd. I'll just say that just because it's an easy cop-out and I just saw him walk by.
Carlisle gives you a lot of freedom on offense. Why does that work so well for this team?
Man, that's what this is about, man. That's where the roots of this game comes from. I think just when you go out and play pickup basketball or play street ball or whatever, you're just going out there creating. And, we're all savants out there, and I think he allows us just to be ourselves. And I think the days of, calling a play every single, time up and down, like, it's the playoffs, man. People scout for that. People scout your next move. So you got to be able to think and create on the fly.
Hey, Miles, what sets Drew apart? I'm sorry. Go right ahead, Bill. All right.
What's good, sis?
You guys have talked about the wear down effect throughout the playoffs. What impact, if any, did that have on the results of game 1?
It's part of a formula, you know what I mean? And I think that when you get to this time of the year, you don't switch up, what you do. So we know this is a younger team, it's a team that kind of has the same philosophy as us, but, it's just in the fourth quarter when you get picked up full court or, you get word on the bid, like those shots are a lot harder to hit, the threes that you've been hitting all game are a little bit different than the last 3 minutes of the game when you're a little bit more tired. So, I think that it's an overall philosophy thing, but, at the end of the day, you got to continue to keep grinding it out.
Talking about the fans, also here in Indiana, great fans, and obviously also here in Oklahoma. The fandom in the NBA normally is not like that crazy compared to other sports, and especially soccer and all that. How do you experience that, and what does it mean to you, like having such a perfect example that the fandom and those fans can go on both sides so crazy?
Yeah, you have 2 small market teams here, 2 communities that really put everything behind their teams. So, yeah, it's so much more passion that comes with it, you know what I mean, as opposed to, your bigger market teams, if you will. Like this, some people, this is all they have, they pour everything they have into their team. So it's a lot louder in these type of environments. We definitely realized that game 1, when you're in the huddle, you can't hear, or you got to give hand signals. That type of stuff is real, this time of the year. And then when we get back to Indiana, it's going to be the same exact thing. So it's just the ultimate competitor's environment, man. It's fun.
First half, game 1, not your greatest half. How did somebody step up at halftime in the locker room, send a message like don't give up, stuff like that?
I think it was a collective messaging. It wasn't just one person that said we have to do this, this, and that. I think we all realized what the moment was. And again, I think our team thrives in adversity. We'd all been there plenty of times before, and we kept our messaging pretty simple. We knew the obvious glaring thing was the turnovers, and outside of that was just the collective will to get it done.
What sets Drew apart defensively? What makes him such a great defensive player?
Drew's a lot stronger than he looks. I don't think people don't realize that. He's a very balanced player. He's a very smart player, and I think his anticipation is huge as well. And someone that just has a natural feel for the game.
Miles, what is the most important value for you to play the finals?
Most important what? I'm sorry?
The value.
Value? Man, it's just the fact that, I'm here. I may not ever get this opportunity again. So while I'm here, I'm just going to take full advantage of it. So that's the biggest value, is the fact that you work so hard to get here and just never know when the opportunity will present itself again.
Miles, getting you ready for the next game. There's no guarantees around here. You've been in the league, 11 years, first finals. There's some rookies who go right in and make it. But how do you tell young guys like that? It's not like this all the time.
Yeah. I literally was just talking to one of our rookies, Johnny Furphy, about it. It was just like, you're spoiled, man. The fact you get to, get this, as a baby is it's huge, man. But, whether you get here again or not, just you have to be where your feet are, man. Really enjoy, what this moment and opportunity presented itself to be. Even if you're not playing, man, just look at the cadences, look at the crowd, look at everything that comes with this, because this is the final stage. We're the only team playing. What they said, EuroLeague's done, all the bigger basketball leagues are done except for us. So it's fun.
When you got into the league, did you think it was going to take this long? Did you think, first, second year, third year, tops?
Man, I didn't know what to expect, because I got spoiled a little bit myself. My first year, I went to a Game 7, in the first round, and got to see a competitive environment. And you do just start thinking that, it's going to come year by year by year, and then you miss the playoffs 3 or 4 years, and it's like, oh wow, that itch starts to come again.
How's the turnovers? Is it something that OKC was doing, now that you guys watch film on it, or is it internal, I guess?
Oh, it's a combination. I think that they've built their brand and built their, really the overall the way they play off of their defense, the way they swarm the ball, the way they got guys selling out, so, a little bit was that, a little bit was us being a little careless with the ball, so it's a combination.
Were you surprised to see them as media?
You said the media? Not necessarily, because I just know that this is the stage, right? Everybody wants to be here, including y'all. This is what y'all do this for. To cover the biggest moments, the biggest athletes. So not necessarily, and I think it's just a great opportunity for everybody.
Shea has 28 on 30 shots. High usage, but relatively low passing for him. What was the process like? How did you feel like you guys did when you revisited the film?
Could have been a lot better, to be honest. We realized he missed a few shots, but at the same time, for us collectively to get where we need to be, it has to be a better overall effort on him.
All right, thanks everyone. That's it.
Appreciate it.
Got you, Darren.
Great. Avoiding points of turnover. We're great avoiding. How did you guys do it? How do you see it to avoid it?
Just worrying about the next play. If we turn the ball over, just getting back on defense and trying to get loaded up and get a stop.
Would you say the Pacers roster will feature great fit
Good. Probably Ty, to be honest. It's the way he reads the game.
Who would be the worst business?
The worst businessman? It's a tough question. We'll go TJ. Yeah.
What was some of the things you looked at on film from Thursday? Lights didn't necessarily like.
Obviously the turnovers, and then what he said, being able to limit their points off turnovers. Our rebounding, I thought, was really good for a team that crashes as much as they did or do. So I think those two takeaways were really good for us.
Pacers team has obviously been known for its comebacks over the course of the playoffs, but the Thunder, on the other hand, have been known for really coming back after a loss and hitting opponents hard. So how do you guys mentally prepare for them in that aspect?
I think, even though we were able to win the game, I think none of us were really happy with our performance. And so I think that's really good for our mindset going into game 2 and keeping that as kind of an edge and not being caught off guard by their aggressiveness or how they come out of the gate.
What kind of you guys haven't lost back-to-back games since What is the key to not allowing those sorts of things to happen? I know you guys don't lose,
Yeah, I think it's a mindset thing, just like you said, knowing what we did well and knowing what we didn't do well in the game and kind of just coming into game 2 with a chip on our shoulder. Like, we did win the game, but, we did a lot of things that, really put us in a position to lose again. What's up, Obi?
How you doing?
Yeah.
Miles has been around for a decade. What impact does someone like that, who's seen it all, who's been around the franchise for that long, having the locker room and also on the court?
He's one of our leaders. He's one of the heads of the Snakes, snake on our team. So, he helps keep us composed, help us keep the main thing the main thing.
How do you keep yourself composed when you get a game like being down for that long and then still being on the road?
Like I said, man, like we put ourselves in a position we didn't want to be in, and just understanding that and understand how much better we can be. I think we're just looking forward to the opportunity to showing that we can play a full 48-minute game the way we did the second half.
Sometimes it's hard to fall asleep, I guess, after a loss. Is it the same?
I wouldn't say so, just because of the fashion that the way the game went. I think we'll be ready to go from the jump for game 2.
What about your defense? How much of a security blanket is three-point shooting at the level you guys can do it? The number of guys who can hit it, the way you can spread the floor. That in a game like that, you know, even with some mistakes, even facing a deficit, you have the ability to kind of eat up a lot.
Yeah, we just talk about letting it fly and shooting with confidence, trusting your process. And, you know, whenever we're down like that and the game calls for you to just let them go, we just have a lot of guys that are able to shoot the ball with confidence and, you know, let it fly.
What about your defense was able to do so for Honey City's ball?
You know, just film preparation, you know, making them a little bit uncomfortable, but yeah, I'm not gonna say too much. Yeah.
How the experience of you guys coaching, I think a lot of people have been talking about from how important and vital is that to this group, just having guys who have been here.
Yeah, I mean, our coaching staff we have a phenomenal staff. We have guys who've been around for so long, who've just seen so much, know so much about the game, and I think they've just done a really good job of, you know, kind of letting everybody know what their strengths are, weaknesses are, and just, you know, kind of catering to each individual player to the best of our abilities.
Those last two possessions, the missed shot and the basket, how fast or slow did that go be?
Super slow. Yeah, super slow. You know, throughout these comebacks, I never realized what we do in the moment. I only realized after the game's over. So, you know, we're just playing basketball. We're just trying to win the ball game, and, you know, we just let the cards fall where they may. Appreciate it. Good. Thank you.
Playing in the finals is a crazy experience. Walking on the court was something you live for, and the crowd here was amazing. The noise was the most I've ever felt in the game. So kind of all just came together, and the nerves settled in, and it was a fun game.
And can you tell me about your relationship with Jenny Boucher? How much her impact on the game?
Our relationship is great. I love Jenny. She's done a lot for me since I've gotten here, on and off the court. Just taught me intricate parts of the game and how to deal with a lot of things mentally. And I know she's someone who's always going to be by my side going forward, and got a lot of love for her. And her knowledge of the game has been one of the best I've been around.
Andrew, you've part of your job is always kind of picking up the other team's best player and all that. But what was it like just physically after whatever number of minutes guarding Shea in that environment? You know he's going to be in the paint. You know he's going to try and get you to foul him. You know he's going to, if you don't, he's like just the mental and physical tag out.
No, it's definitely a job that has no breaks. It's a consistent 48-minute job from our whole team. And I think also starting these series, we've gotten lucky enough to kind of win our first series a little earlier, so we've had the week off or so, and it's kind of taking you out of shape a little bit. So first game was kind of getting back into shape and really feeling that pace again.
And like afterwards, how did you feel?
I felt good. I mean, I'm only 25, so I'm popping back pretty quick. Getting the right stuff in my body and understanding how to pop back in the right place.
How was your defense? This is for Dominican Republic. What do you remember playing alongside Chris Duarte?
Chris was here when I was a rookie. He was someone who has helped me get into the league, and I thought he had a lot of kind of things to kind of teach me as being a second-year guy and just going through what I went through my first year. So a lot of good things coming from me in terms of Chris.
I remember one of your breakthrough moments was a three-pointer you hit against the Lakers. Now it seems like you get as much attention for the defensive report. Have you dialed that up over the years, or was it there and you just didn't pay attention?
Yeah, I mean, I think ever since I've gotten into the league, I've taken on those responsibilities since my rookie year. My success with them have probably gone up, and that's what you guys are seeing. I've just got more comfortable, more experience, understanding the game in the NBA and how to kind of work around the foul situation. But that's always been something I've tried to lean on and the thing that tried to put me on the court initially.
Ben was here saying there's not just offensive basketball IQ, but defensive basketball IQ. How do you look at that?
I think it's a feel thing. I think it's understanding tendencies, what guys like to do, and then what we're trying to accomplish as a team and being in the right spots early. And then also just figuring out on the fly when things don't go well in emergency situations.
How was your defense able to reduce Oklahoma City's ball movement in Game 1, and just how important is that for you guys to stay ahead of the series?
Say that one more time.
How did your defense as a team reduce Oklahoma City's ball movement in Game 1, and just how important is that for the rest of the series?
I'm not sure whether it did that or not. I think we talk about playing a full 94-feet game and picking guys up and wearing on them, being physical, being fast out there, and I think that was something for them to adjust.
You and Andrew had that little moment, or sorry, you and Shea had that moment, I guess the third, fourth quarter, kind of shoved each other, basically. What was that all about?
Just competition, getting a little physical. Guys are out there trying to win the game, and there's no friends at this point.
You've had a few moments where you kind of stepped up to guys in the quarters last year, for example. What are people missing about you? Because you don't come across that way.
I think I'm just out there to compete, and I'm willing to do what it takes to get it done, and I'm not too worried about making friends out there. So whatever happens, happens in that sense.
EJ, I'm not going to say who, but someone from your team said you would be a great head coach in the future. What can you say about it? I'll say you wouldn't like that.
I'm not sure my wife would like that, but I'm appreciative of the compliment. I don't know if that's what I'm going to do when I'm done playing, but obviously appreciative.
Who would you say would be from the roster a great head coach in the future?
Tyrese, for sure.
Who would be the worst businessman?
Worst businessman. I know my answer, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
TJ, I know you're obviously one of the longer tenured faces here, and I'm sure this question has been asked, but obviously after game one, just like we saw with Tyrese getting in, what can you just say about this team, and why are you guys so resilient and responding to pressure? And, what does that just say about kind of the veteran presence that you guys have, that comes in the game towards this, like Miles and you as well? What are those factors that kind of have led to that success for you?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have guys that have kind of been in this league for a long time to help steady the negative parts of the game. But I got to give credit to Rick and his staff. They've really instilled in us that no game is over until it's over, and fight to the final buzzer no matter the score. And I feel like we've done a good job of that to kind of keep playing no matter the score or the time and give ourselves a chance.
Carlisle, gives you guys a lot of freedom on the offensive end. How does that work so well for your team?
I feel like just the empowerment that he gives us and the freedom, really, it just kind of lets us play our game. And as a player, when you have that type of freedom, you feel like you can go out there and kind of play your game. So I just got to give him so much credit and respect for giving us that kind of freedom to go out there and do that.
How were you able to reduce Oklahoma City's ball movement in Game 1, and just how important is that for you guys defensively?
Yeah, I mean, I think we just got to make things as difficult as possible. They're a great offensive team led by the MVP of the league. So you're not going to shut a team like that down. It's just about making things as difficult as possible.
And then broadly, what makes Andrew such an effective defensive player on ball, but even more so off ball?
I mean, he's our Swiss Army knife, honestly. Anything we ask him to do, he does it at a high level, both offensively and defensively. And he just continues to answer the bell, every time. So obviously, we're thankful he's on our side, and you got to give him so much credit. He's been remarkable.
TJ, winning on the road again, this is another series that you guys have been able to do. Just how big is that to steal game one? You guys have stolen games 1 and 2 on the road last couple series.
Yeah, I mean, I think winning in the playoffs is really hard, but winning in the playoffs on the road is even harder. So to get a win on the road in a game like that, obviously very important, but we've got to move past it and just focus on game 2. And that starts with today on fixing the things that we didn't do so well.
Ty mentioned yesterday when you guys settled in throughout the game more often. When you came in for the first time, how different would you describe the emotion of coming into a finals game versus any other experience you've had like that?
Yeah, well, I've never checked into a finals game before, so it was a first for me. And I think in the beginning, we kind of had that deer in headlights look. All of us except for Pascal have never played in the finals, so like you said, once we settled in and looked more comfortable, we started to play our game a little bit more.
Shea goes for 38, but he had 30 shots to do it. You know, like that sort of high usage, low pass out. What did you guys think about the defensive process on him in game one?
I mean, like I said, he's the MVP of our league, so you're not going to shut a guy like that down. He's a special talent. It's just about making things as difficult as possible and try to tire him out and wear him down. And credit to everyone that guarded him. You know, they played a part in trying to do that. Obviously, he had a phenomenal game, but it's a collective effort.
How much does the defensive end play into that too? Because you're trying to get into that guy's legs. The other side of the court has to matter as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're trying to do. You know, just make him work on both ends. I mean, he's a great player, and you know, when great players play a lot of minutes, you can you know, kind of get into their legs. Obviously, I'm not sure we saw a lot of that. He had 38 points, but it's a process thing.
They're obviously really close to their team. What's your favorite thing about playing with Pascal?
I mean, he just makes things so easy for everyone around him. Not only is he a great player, he's a great teammate, great person. It's just, like I said, when you play with him, you give him the ball and let him go to work, and he'll get you an open shot or he's getting a bucket. So, like I said, it just makes things easier for the rest of us.
I know you guys aren't necessarily caring what the whole country thinks about the Pacers, but obviously the more wins like this, the more they're talking about you guys. What do you hope they learn about this group?
Yeah, we're not really focused about the external noise, but we just got to be a team that plays incredibly hard on both ends and plays together, and that's what we try to do.
TJ, were you surprised that they completely shied away from their two-big lineup and even started with only one big?
You know, that's not really something, you know, I'm really focused on. You know, we're just trying to go out there and whatever lineup they put out there, just go out there and play our game. And that's kind of been the message.
TJ, what was your reaction after the Tyrese shot? And it's getting usual for you?
Yeah, I mean, when he has the ball in his hands at the end of the game, we're very confident. And he continues to show how great of a player he is. So when it went in, we were all just very excited and happy to come out with a win. But, you know, like I said, we got to move on and focus on game two.
What do you expect for tomorrow's game?
It's going to be a great atmosphere, and I expect we're going to get their best punch coming out for game two.
Where does that trust in Tyrese come from? Just take us behind the scenes a little bit.
I mean, he's our franchise guy. He has showed up in the biggest moments for us since he's gotten here. And, you know, I think it's just more magnified now that's on the biggest stage. But, you know, we've seen him do this a lot in practice and in games. And, you know, he's made big play after big play. And obviously very proud of him for the growth that he's made.
Last question. Means so much to you. Take me through wearing that jersey, and then also what it means to you to have Meg where she is while you're on this one.
Yeah, I love my sister dearly. So proud of everything she's accomplished. So when she made the team, I was at a loss for words. You know, almost cried, and so I tried to get that jersey as quickly as I could so I could wear it and honor her and show her how proud of her I am. And I'm grateful for the Mercury organization sending that over as quickly as they did, and doing that is something very special for me and my family.
Thanks all.
Enjoyed the game, but it's a new day now, and we're going to learn and get better from that first game and get on to game number two.
The cliche is treated like any other game, but you have, I mean, this isn't like any other game with all these folks out here. There's hype, and you guys have to feel that, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely hype. Obviously, like you said, it's a lot of media around right now. But other than that, it do feel like a regular game. Like, we want to approach it that way and just be ourselves.
Emotions playing Eastern Conference Final against New York Knicks, your previous team?
Say it again?
The emotions playing against
Yeah. I mean, it was fun. Obviously, I'm from New York. I grew up a Knicks fan. And to have the opportunity to play them and beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals, it was fun. And to have my family there, my kids, my parents, my fiance, we definitely enjoyed that moment.
And
you guys have been really good in game twos so far.
Yeah.
What's this team got that's able to maintain that success when there's so many adjustments in these 2 games?
Great coaches, great leaders. They keep us on track. Obviously, Pascal's been in the finals before. Pascal won the finals as well. Coach been in the finals and won the finals. We have great leaders around us who's been in these moments and know what it takes to win. And we all just follow along and just listen to what they got to say and just keep going.
Pascal had for input on this run. How important has that been to have that?
It's been extremely important. Like I said, he's done it most recent with the Raptors getting that ring, and he's every single day he's always throwing us things that we should take in the back of our mind about how it's gonna go and what's gonna happen. And we're all like a sponge. We're all taking in everything they're saying and just getting better.
And in that same vein, what's your favorite thing about playing with Pascal?
Man, it's extremely fun playing with Pascal, but it's extremely fun playing with everybody on this team. Everybody enjoys playing with each other. We love each other, and as y'all can see, we have a lot of fun and joy playing this game, and we're just going to continue that.
What was the mission against Shea, and does it mostly fall, at least first and foremost, to Andrew?
Nothing falls to just one player. Obviously, Shea's a great player. He obviously won MVP, but it's a team collective thing that we got to understand, and I feel like we do understand that. We understand the amount of pressure he puts on teams, Shea puts on teams, and as a team, we just got to be able to stop that and stop the other guys as well.
What has Andrew shown you guys, though, by frequently taking
the
best scorers on the
Yeah. Him, Andrew and Aaron both are great defenders, and it's no surprise now. Everybody knows them. Everybody seen what they did last year, seen what they did this year, and they just dogs. They go out there and get the job done, do their job to the best of their abilities.
Coach Carlisle gives y'all a lot of freedom as an offense.
Yeah.
How does that work so well for you?
Yeah. It's just trust, and it starts with Ty. Obviously, Ty is an amazing player, superstar player, and everybody understands that. And we also have other great leaders in Pascal and Miles as well. And being on the court with those guys, they're great leaders. Like they're making sure we're staying along within what we're supposed to be doing, and everybody on this team listens, and that's why we're where we're at.
And why is it makes y'all
Talking about Pascal,
Yeah.
We saw you doing some soccer tricks.
Yeah.
Where
Like
do
that,
you-
right?
Yeah. Where do you learn that?
I'm an athlete. I feel like I can play every sport. People who know me know I can play anything. But my girl's a soccer player. She used to play soccer at George Mason. She was pretty good. So just messing around in the house, I picked up on a couple things.
And who you got for the club World Cup?
I don't know. I ain't gonna lie.
You have been changing your game style from primary at dunker.
Say it again?
You have been changing your game style
Yeah.
from primary at dunker to a shooter.
Yeah.
Who is?
I'm a shooter now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hit 5 triples.
Yeah, I like that.
Who is helping you with that?
Who's helping me? I feel like myself, but obviously all the coaches as well. Me feeling the trust that they have with my shots. The work that we've put in, obviously Mike, one of our assistant coach, I've been working with him the past 2 years. But like just being in the games and knowing that they have trust in me, even the players as well, it gives me a lot of confidence in myself. And so just go out there and trust my work and trust that it's going to always go in.
What is the best motivation you have in these finals?
Best motivation? Yes. The ring. I mean, like everybody keeps saying, like there's a lot of players who've been in the league, great players who haven't been to the finals, haven't won the finals, and to have this opportunity to be here, it's a blessing, and we're not going to take it for granted.
Do you think that winning the game on the last shot gives you guys a boost of energy compared to, like, let's say, winning by 10?
Yeah.
And how was the locker room like after game one?
Winning a game, period, gives us some energy, but it's not about one game. It's a 7-game series, first to 4, and so that game's over with, and we have a game tomorrow that we have to worry about, and so we're gonna just get better and learn and get prepared for tomorrow.
You had some early turnovers. And yet, rather than maybe saying it's not my night or anything, Rick went back to you for what happened later, and he went back to you pretty quickly.
Right.
Is that built on a relationship that you have?
Relationship, trust, the feel of a game. Like, I did have those early turnovers, but at the same time, it's most of our first times in the playoff. The game was moving fast, but those are no excuses. Like, trust. Coach has a lot of trust, not only in me, but in all the guys on our bench. And when we feel that, we feel confident. And that's why when I came out in the second quarter, came out in the second half, everything was a lot better.
What do you attribute to your career year? Just comfort, you got the new contract, you got engaged. Like, what is it special about this season, and what has clicked for you?
Like you said, everything. This has been a great year for me. Obviously started off beginning of the year having my son Oziah, getting engaged in Paris in whatever month that was. I should know that, right? Yeah, facts. It's just a lot going on right now. But the Paris thing, and then obviously having the opportunity to be here, it's been an amazing year, and we're not going to take it for granted. We're gonna get the job done.
Was it easy to slow down and go to sleep after game 1?
Yeah, not really. No, I'm not gonna even lie. Like, it was definitely a fun journey in game 1, but like I said, once I went to sleep and woke up, it's a new day, and we gotta get prepared for the next game.
Can you talk about?
Yeah. What kind of a rotation is played over there?
Yeah.
Now we're in the finals, and both of you play like a very big rotation, both teams.
Right.
What does it say about this kind of playing style and how successful this can be also now in the finals?
Yeah. We've been doing it for the past 2 years. Like, our team has depth, and our coach has a lot of trust in not only the starters but everybody on the bench as well. And so everybody knows their job when they get out there on the floor, and we're all going to go 110% every single time. And the coaches trust that, the players trust that, and that's why we've had so much success.
Obi, can you talk about the atmosphere? I know it's great in the arena in the playoffs, but just the experience in here, first final game, and then this loud noise.
Yeah, it was an amazing atmosphere in here. They was definitely loud, but we expected that. But can't wait to get back in Gamebridge and hear our fans. So, yes, good.
I enjoy it. You know, I embrace it fully. You know, being able to help this team try and get a win, especially against a great OKC team. And it felt good to, you know, get out there and get a bucket, get a bucket out there. You know, there was a little nerves out there, but of course, you know, you let the game go. As soon as the game gets going, you know, you just fall into basketball.
And now you're still in the first game. How do you go now to get more?
Well, it's a good position to get a good road win, but you know that's behind us right now. You know, all we have to focus on is game 2 and making the improvements to try and get a win in game 2, which is going to be a very tough one like it was for game 1.
I got a question for you. Obviously, you know, we were teammates during our tenure at the Heat. I know you were a big coffee drinker during that time. So what changed from coffee to now matcha? What made that change?
Well, what made the change was my girlfriend.
Okay.
My girlfriend Carlisle, she got into matcha, and she kept trying to get me into matcha for like 2 months until I finally tried it.
Yeah.
And now I'm like a little bit of a matcha guy.
You're hooked now.
Yeah, I'm a little hooked.
As am I. All right. Appreciate you, Thomas.
Mighty guy.
Thomas, you were teammates with Caruso when you were rookie. What do you just remember about your guys' time together? Do you ever remember when you actually different games?
Oh, man, what I remember about Caruso is that he was the hardest working guy. He always kept the team in line, man. Like, the one thing about Caruso is that he always gave it his all. Offensively, defensively. Defensively, he was always a terror out there. So, you know, going against him in this platform, man, it's special. It's amazing, man. And, you know, I'm glad I get to go against him. You know, I wish we were still teammates, but, hey, it's funny. It's fun to go against him now.
Thomas, you guys had so much success out of that left corner, knocking down 8 of 10. You had one of those. Was that a read you guys saw? Was that something coming in you know was going to be available?
Well, we knew that our jump shooting was going to be a key source for us, and you know, against this team, you have to take what you can get. You know, they're a great defensive team. You know, and they cover their grounds really well. So when we have those openings, we kind of have to try and take those as soon as we get them. You know, we're not going to get too much out of this going against this defense too much. So when we get those openings, we got to take them when we can.
You came in mid-season. At what point did you feel comfortable, confident in what you were doing and being part of this entire thing?
It took me a little bit. Sometimes even now I still feel a little, still feel a little sideways sometimes because, you know, again, going with a team that has success throughout the years, and you know, when you're one of the new guys coming in, you just want to try and gain success, keep the success going, and not be detrimental in any way. You know, and you know, there's still, you know, it's not going to be perfect out there. We're still going out there, making sure that we run the game plan, but also run what we want to do out there with our guys' tendencies out there. You know, and you know, we try to do that to the best of our abilities.
These the last 2 series, including this one. So I guess 3. You've won the first game on the road. How big is that, just mentally, to steal one, at least one, on the road?
I think it's a really, really big mental standpoint out there because, you know, playing on the road is very tough. You know, especially in the playoffs, it's 10 times tougher than anything else. So when you can steal one on the road, man, it means a lot for us. You know, mentally, psychologically, and going into, you know, the other games, going in with a full head, good circle around us, and you know, the confidence that we have to go in those games. So it feels good.
Thomas, now that you've been with this team for a while, what has stood out to you about Rick and how he operates and commands this roster?
I believe Rick is a great, fabulous coach, man. And the thing about it is that Rick has been here multiple times. He's felt this. He knows it. You know, as a player and as a coach too. So, you know, you get the best of both worlds right there from a coach. And for him, he always puts us in a great position to succeed, man. And he leans on his bench. And, you know, he loves his starters, but he also loves his bench too. And that's where I really love that about him as well. That he gives us the opportunity to go out there and play.
Is there any similarities with Spo?
I would say same but different. You know, the similarities is about the top conditions. One, to get out and run fast, run our pace, and you know, ball movement on the offensive end, and defensively, you know, being a terror out there, getting some stops so that way you can run in transition. I would say the similarities were there.
Thomas, what was the vibe like playing in this arena with this crowd?
Oh my God, it was amazing. It was at one point where we couldn't even hear each other out there, offensively and defensively, for about a good, I would say, 3-4 minutes straight. And in my years of being in the league, man, I've never had that long of a tension of not being able to hear, even when the Warriors were having their thing right there, man. But, you know, it was a great crowd, a great atmosphere, man. And those are the atmospheres and crowds that we thrive and we love to play against and we love to play in.
Thomas, when you have a player like Shea and you know, Andrew's kind of got the first assignment on him, how taxing is that when you know you're covering guys going to have the ball that much, going to shoot that much, going to drive that much? What does it discipline mentally say about Andrew's able to hang in there like that?
It shows a lot of his resilience and his fight that I feel like people just don't talk about enough, man, because to be able to do that on a nightly basis, especially on a platform like this in the finals, and a great player like Shea against a great OKC team, and we ask him to do a lot out there in the defensive end and also go out there on the offensive end and produce for us too, man, that's a lot. You know, I don't think people understand of how much Drew really means to us for this team, and how not even well, it's great that he's doing out there, to go out there, go against Shea, the MVP, and go against other guys, and we ask him to do a lot out there on the defensive end for us, and he gets it done for us day in and day out, man, and that's amazing to see. You know, I'm just happy that he's getting some real good glorification for it.
Thomas, you've been in a championship team before. What similarities do you find between that roster and this roster?
Well, the similarities, I would say that the camaraderie that we have and togetherness that we have. You know, one thing about it was that that Denver Nuggets team that I was with was very close. You know, we hung out on and off the court, and I see the same similarities with this team. You know, and it was throughout the season as well that we were hanging out, gaining chemistry, talking to each other about this and that, and we could always say something to each other and not we can hold each other accountable. Nobody gets offended by it, and that's one thing that it might be a small thing, but those go a long way, especially in the playoffs.
Who would you say would be from the current roster the best head coach in the league in the future?
Oh, that's tough, man, because there's a lot of great coaches out there, man. To be honest, I can't put one finger on it. And you know, the Phoenix coach the Phoenix that just got their main coach, man, he was one of my coaches in LA, and I always wanted to see him be a coach. So it's great to see him get that possibility. So, you know, it's a lot of great coaches out there, and I just hope they get their opportunities when they can.
From the Pacers roster, from this Pacers roster, who would be in the future a good head coach?
Oof. All of them, actually. Jenny, LP. Those are the two off bat that I would say for sure.
Thank you.
Can you take us through the last two possessions, the missed shot and then your made basket at the end? How did you experience it? Did it go slow? Did it go super fast? How did you experience it?
No, I was in the middle of the game. It wouldn't say it happened too fast, but it was just like kind of like reality. If you weren't paying attention, you probably wouldn't see it. So I was glad I was paying attention at that point. And you know, we fought to the end right there, and luckily we got a stop, and Tyrese made a hellacious shot to give us the win.
And then the locker room, the mood afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like there was a shock going through the building. How was it in your locker room?
It was good. You know, we were happy about it, but our immediate response was, let's get ready for game 2. You know, we were happy that we got the win. We happy that Tyrese got the shot off, but everybody's mindset as soon as we got into the locker room was, great, congratulations, but let's focus on game 2 now.
Is it also sorry. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. I was just talking to Lou Dort, and he said we're even more motivated now than we were for game 1. What does that do with your confidence?
Well, we feel confident, you know, he's motivated and we're motivated as well. It should be a good game. Mm-hmm.
Thanks all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you got a chance to hear from all your favorite Pacers players and, of course, Rick Carlisle. Now you get to hear from your other favorite, Tony East of Locked On Pacers here as we continue our coverage of the NBA Finals here in Oklahoma City. We're staring down the barrel of Game 2, still buzzing after Game 1. What's your biggest takeaway hearing from these guys? I mean, it feels like the message is always the same. One day at a time, stay in the moment, don't get too high, get too low. But these guys, they're locked in. There's no doubt about it.
Feels interesting that both teams kind of feel like they didn't play very well in that game 1, which is why, of course, the Pacers feel better that they actually won the game. But between the Pacers turnovers, which we talked about after the last game, 19 in the first half, a couple other things here and there that they didn't feel like they did great. You know, Ben Shepherd mentioning how hard it is to get in the paint against the Thunder defense. They want to do better there. I don't think they like their points in the paint number. And the Thunder, many things, including their disastrous last 9.5 minutes, but their passing was not the volume they needed to be. Both teams feel like there's a lot they can do better, and that was a theme today, that it was a tough game, but they all need to be better if it's going to be a series that the Thunder can keep up in.
Now you're going to go into this, you're going to think odds are stacked against the Pacers once again. That's basically how it's been all season long, but there was a good point that was brought up. The Thunder are very good at bouncing back as well. We mentioned the Pacers haven't lost back-to-back games since March 10th. The Thunder, they're very good at not losing back-to-back games as well. What sort of, I guess, adjustments do you think they were trying to make just by talking to them today of what they want to do?
I believe at this building they've lost back-to-back the whole season, which is unbelievable. Yeah, and part of that was mentioned earlier. I was talking to Casey Wallace when someone brought up that they had their lowest passing game of the season in terms of just the number of passes they threw. They looked at the Pacers' pressure as a part of that. You saw late Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander really trying to force the issue. Credit the Pacers' defense for playing in a way that lulled them into that. I think they did a good job with Donovan Mitchell in a similar way in the second round, but the Thunder don't want to do that, right? They are a little bit like the Pacers in their tempo and their passing volume and the way they like to get their shots. They didn't have any of that in Game 1. They would like that to be better in Game 2, and Chet Holmgren took a lot of personal responsibility for his own poor play. He's a guy that's been very good for Oklahoma City all season. Miles Turner did a very good job against him on both ends. He would like to be a lot better as well, and I think that's kind of a theme you got from a lot of players on that team today is just if they play better as individuals, they feel like it'll lift the whole team. It's easy to say that after a loss, though.
Oklahoma City had not lost to an Eastern Conference opponent in this building since the Indiana Pacers back in 2024. So the Pacers having some success in this building. We heard Rick Carlisle say today that and he always says this, right? It's going to be monumentally more challenging the next game in a playoff series. But he talked about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Look, he had 38. I mean, the guy was absolutely balling. There's no question about it. But he said they're going to be more aggressive. You know, it's going to be challenging to take two here in Oklahoma City. We know this, but some lineup changes for the Thunder as well. Do you anticipate anything overcorrecting, that overcorrection ahead of Game 1 here in Game 2, or are the Thunder going to kind of stay similar? What do you think there?
I was with Chet Holmgren when people were asking a lot about the double bigs. You know, it's not even just that they changed out of starting Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren. Those two didn't play together at all the whole game after starting together for much of the playoffs. I thought that was quite a huge shift. I did wonder if they would ever go to that. I didn't think they'd do it right away and then not play those two together at all. So I wonder if they'll start Alex Caruso maybe next game instead of Case and Wallace. But, you know, Caruso as the spark plug off the bench is something that they've come to expect and live with all season. But I do wonder if Mark Daigneault pulls out the Hartenstein plus Holmgren together card. We saw the Pacers in the second round have to deal with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen together. At times I struggled with it. At times their offense was able to just push right past it. They did well against Hartenstein last year when he was with the Knicks. So on one hand, I think the Thunder think it's a difference that can help them. On the other hand, I've seen the Pacers handle these kind of exact challenges.
Yeah, so that also shifts talking about overthinking things and trying to make over adjustments. The Pacers are the ones, and we talked about this after Game 1, they're the ones that said, hey, you're going to play our brand of basketball. Is that something that rolls into the beginning of Game 2, or is it more of Rick Carlisle and his staff get a little bit more of a feel of it and then do that again based on adjustments that they need to make?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think the beginning of the game will tell us that because, you know, we've talked about the settling in aspect that Tyrese Haliburton brought up where they got better every quarter. What was the outlier half last game? If it was the first half and the Pacers are truly at the level of OKC right now, if they start the game looking very good, they'll say, great, keep playing our way. What have they told us the whole playoffs? If we play our way, you know, we don't even need to change. We just got to be better at the way we do things. Like if that's how the game starts, I think they'll feel great about that. If it's more like, oh, the first half was the real half and the Thunder are, you know, looking a little bit better. They had that run at the beginning of the fourth to put them up 15, you know, then maybe the Pacers do think, crap, we got to, you know, dig into the bag, figure out what we need to make changes for, who needs to be playing with who, all sorts of things. So on one hand, I think the Pacers should feel confident that they got better throughout the game. On the other hand, I think we'll learn a lot very early in Game 2.
No question about it. It's the Pacers' fifth comeback of 15 or more points this postseason. We've come to expect it. But teams who have won Game 1 of the NBA Finals on the road have only gone on to win the series 44% of the time. Very, very interesting stat right there when teams who have won Game 1 of the NBA Finals just in general have gone on to win 70% of the time. So kind of an interesting stat right there. We'll see if the Pacers can keep defying history and statistics and everything that goes along with that. Game 2 of the NBA Finals, Sunday, 8 o'clock Eastern. We'll be right here, have all your coverage of this Pacers team in this playoff run. For now, we'll see you next time.